I remember the director saying to me, let's milk it. And it was like, ring their mothers, because I think I milked it for as long as I could until I said,
hello, Phil.
Here we are.
Thanks, Mum.
When you was 14, you had a baby, right? You're quite a tasty bird, ain't you?
I was raped.
Getting jealous, eh?
Don't you flatter yourself.
I don't know the animal you keep calling your father, Donna, because he raped me. Please, James, let me go.
No. Don't struggle, Kathy.
We had one scene, and it don't happen anymore. So what else we got? Phil!
Oh, I'm gonna be a grandmother!
Yeah. I'm a father, am I?
Well, you blame everyone else if it helps you.
Get out! Just get out! She's going.
As far as I can see, Ian's done everything he could to keep you happy. And all you've ever done is take.
Don't you dare!
I am never going to take him back, Grant.
Come on, darling. That's us.
He's never got over you. He still loves you.
What about you and me?
2 weeks ago, your brother turned up on my doorstep. We slept together.
Maybe we should knock it on the head once and for all.
I've got to be really, really brave.
What was it?
There's been an accident. Car crash. She's gone. Kathy's dead.
Hello, Phil.
Funny, compassionate.
Dependent.
I can do it in 3.
Mum.
Earthing.
She can be weak.
Loyal.
Loyal.
I can do 5.
She's a battler.
Man-eater.
And honest.
I don't know how many words I've said now.
Thank you, Dominic Treadwell-Collins. There you go, 5.
Bringing back Kathy is something that's often been kind of joked about and talked about, and I remember bumping into Gilly at an awards do and having a chat with her about it, and she said, oh, I'd love to come back. And I said, but you're dead. And I said, it kills me that you're dead. But if we could ever find a way to bring you back that was believable.
Dominic kind of said to me, right, Alex, go away and think of how Kathy could be alive. And then I started to think about the canoe man. And I wondered whether could Gavin and Kathy together have faked their deaths? And that's how the story came about. And it is a very kind of canoe man-based thing. And actually, when it boils down to it, it's quite simple.
I was never, ever, ever going to greenlight it until we had a convincing story for her return.
Ultimately, they faked their death to get to escape debt. We gone up to see Dom for a meeting about the live episode, and just as we were all leaving, it was like, oh, Adam, can you just stay a minute, there's something else I want to tell you. And I'm thinking, oh, what have I done wrong? What have I said? I'm bound to be something. And then he told me that Jill was coming back.
And Adam broke. He just suddenly broke down.
And I was just stunned, absolutely stunned. I could not believe it.
And there was this strange kind of surreal moment of holding Adam and him crying and me starting to cry as well. And Adam went, that's all I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted is for my mum to come home.
I was so happy. But I had to keep it secret because he hadn't asked Jill yet.
Julia phoned me. Would you be prepared to come over to visit Dominic at his house? And I said, yeah, that's fine.
So we sat there, sat at the table, and I suddenly said, so we made chit-chat. Gilly in her eyes, I know, was thinking, why is he making chit-chat? Why am I here? What's going on?
And Dominic was telling me the storyline, what was going on. And I'm thinking, yeah, and he went, and then Steve has been disappearing, Phil has been disappearing for a while, and I was going, yeah, and he went, and when what transpires is that he's been going to see you.
And Gilly kind of sat there stunned for a long time.
And I sort of misted over a bit, and I was like, oh, right, okay.
We agreed then, Gilly and I hugged and agreed that it would happen.
I remember leaving, giving him a cuddle and saying thank you, and got into the car and burst into tears. They want me back. You know, so it was quite an emotional journey on the way home.
I get this phone call from her in January.
I phoned him up and I went, hello, son. And he went, Mum!
Just brilliant.
The day of the live, we were told there was a character coming in, but that we didn't have to know any information.
Anything about.
So we
barely knew the sex until about 2 days before.
We wanted to keep it a secret from as many people as possible, so really everybody other than the people who absolutely needed to know.
But then we knew it was a lady, and we knew her size, her dress size and her shoe size, and that's literally all we had. And they said that
we didn't know how old she was. She could have been 12, she could have been 62, we'd no idea.
I didn't find out till actually her first rehearsal on set. We rehearsed all day with me and someone else being a stand-in, not knowing who we were standing in for.
We had to then drive at 7 o'clock in the morning separately to this address. And
really
that was
terrifying.
And we couldn't find the place. The address was really difficult to find.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so we were going up and down a road, getting more and more stressed.
No contact numbers.
And then we pulled up, and then someone ran out the house. This
a man came
ran
out, didn't he?
And said, who were we? And we're at the wrong place or something.
And he said, it's a man, why have you got all these women's clothes?
Yeah.
And I did use an expletive at that point. I did actually swear, quite unlike me then.
And then we went into the house, and that was the first time we saw the person.
I heard voices coming at me and turned around, and there Gillian Taylforth was. It was a bit of a shock, but it was really nice to see her.
We screamed, didn't we?
Yeah, especially Claire, because Claire's known her a long time.
I screamed and then I swore a bit more.
She still looks as gorgeous and glamorous as ever.
Oh, she looked great.
Yeah. She did. She looks amazing.
Because
her boots were a tiny bit big.
Yeah, and the coat we would have done slightly differently.
Yeah.
But it was good. We were happy.
It's such fun to have her back. I'm so excited.
And we did get a nice lunch at their house.
Yes, we did. He cooked very nice stuff. We had a lovely time at Gilly's house.
We had a nice time.
And we all knew how amazing it was going to be because we had this big reveal and nobody else knew about it. It was only us on the location who knew it was going to be her.
I think no one really saw Cathy coming.
So on the night, watching first the rehearsal very quickly of Gilly on set with Steve, and then finally that going out live to the nation was the biggest rush ever.
My worst fear was that because not working with Stevie for so long and being Phil, that I was just going to go, hello, Steve, like that. And I just thought, don't say it. And I was sitting in that cab, please don't let me say hello, Steve, please, because I just thought it's all going to go awfully wrong. I remember the director saying to me, let's milk it, take slow steps towards where you're going to when you get out of the cab. Wait, don't say anything because the camera will be on Steve. Be looking down and then just suddenly look up and milk it. Don't say anything for a while. And it was like, ring their mothers, because I think I milked it for as long as I could until I said, hello, Phil. Hello, Phil.
You literally heard all the crew who were looking on sort of like their viewfinder monitors just went, there was just this intake of breath, and it was like, oh my God, and then all started coming over at me going, you knew? I went, sorry guys, yep.
And I remember after the episode aired, going onto Twitter and seeing the explosion of Cathy tweets and the excitement and the shock.
Wow. The response was kind of unprecedented. It was so electric.
It's what EastEnders is about. That's what everything we do is about. It's that excitement. And in this current day and age, to keep something so big a secret was a massive achievement.
I'd said to my children, because I couldn't tell them, I'd said to them, on Thursday, it's going to be a really interesting episode. I said, Adam Woodyatt is going to do something really funny. I said, so you must try and tune in on Thursday's ep. And they went, yeah, all right, Mum. So Thursday came and off I went and did it. And then there was all these texts when I got back to my little trailer from everybody and phone missed calls, going berserk. And one from my daughter who said, is it true? Mum, all my friends have told me. And then Harrison said, my son, Oh, thank you. You know, out of 99% of the population knows, and your beloved son, your only son, had no idea. And I said, well, I told you to watch, and he was playing football and Jessica was out with her friends.
In this day and age, it's very hard to keep secrets in soap.
It's an interesting game because we want our audience to watch the show, and some people won't watch the show if they don't know what's going on. But we also don't want to spoil the show for people.
We created those great, you must watch live water cooler moments that are missing from telly in general nowadays, from most telly.
It's what EastEnders was built on. I think Julia and Tony's original premise was the Saturday morning cinema, the weekly cliffhanger to keep people coming back. So that's why we ended up with the Duff Duffs.
That was magic to keep everything quiet for that week.
I want to come home.
No, you can't. I ain't having it. Ben and Ian, they don't need it. And Mum and Billy, they're right.
Please, Phil. I've got to go. Please, Phil. Please.
You know there'll be tears, you know there'll be drama, there's probably going to be a cliffhanger in there somewhere. Yeah, it's... Look, you know damn well I know what's going to happen, and I can't tell you, but it's going to be good, okay?
I hope Kathy will live for another few years yet and nothing will happen. You know, she won't get blown up in the calf or anything like that. Yeah, I hope she's around for a while, I do, because it's lovely being back on the square. I love it.